Alright guys, Mike here over in Taiwan, and I'm over in Taipei. Weather's really nice in Taipei. It's kind of weird how, in a place like Japan, I guess they're sick and tired about all these internet people, making videos about Japan being basically a nuisance. See, the thing is that, and I think in Japan they probably knew that this was a lot of traffic going by here right now, so it's a little bit noisy, but I think that they probably should know this about Japan, because the thing is that but Japanese people are usually really polite, and they usually let a lot of things go by, right? So I think that there's kind of like a saying. Let's try that again. There's kind of a saying in English, like don't mistake my kindness for weakness, and I think that a lot of internet people, they kind of mistake Japan's kindness for weakness. They're definitely paying for it now. I think that even with the prison sentences, it's kind of weird though, right? Because I think a lot of people are getting in trouble, but as soon as they see the first sign of trouble in Japan, they just leave and they never come back again. There's some dude who was doing like a 3 or 4 day, I don't know, it's an online whatever thing, podcasting, whatever, and he was making like all this money. He made like $100,000 or some weird crap like that. I don't even know if I believe that or not, but that's what happened in Japan. And the thing is that you're not supposed to be making any money when you're in Japan without a work visa, because that's the only way that they can guarantee that you're going to be paying any taxes, right? But anyways, I'm here in Taiwan, so I don't really care. But yeah, people, they make videos and stuff about Taiwan, and as long as they don't really disrespect the culture or anything, I think nobody really cares, because they just I think that's kind of what drew me to being in Taiwan, is just people in Taiwan, they just kind of mind their own business. You see I'm walking past a big group of people right now, and they don't care. They don't even care what I'm doing. They don't care if I'm putting a monkey face on or talking about Taiwan, talking about the pros and cons of living in Taiwan. They just mind their own business. They're probably going to a nightclub or going to eat at a nice restaurant or something. So anyway, they don't care. It's kind of like I said, I was saying, advantages and disadvantages about living in Taiwan is the fact that nobody really pays attention to you, or they mostly just mind their own business, right? And I mean, part of it has to do with language. I'd say most young people do have some semblance of English, I guess, in Taiwan. But there's also kind of the basics, because if you, as a native English speaker, start talking faster, start launching off into a bunch of idioms and stuff, then people have no idea what you're talking about here. And it is what it is. Are they necessarily going to be bilingual in 10 years? I don't really know. I probably will be here, hopefully not working in the same position, because then I think that I'm probably living my life backwards. But some people, they do that, and it is what it is. But trans is really good here. People are always saying about that, especially if you're taking the train. Train's kind of weird, right? Because sometimes I'll see some sign that says oh, the train is 14 minutes late. That's unheard of in places like Europe and stuff. But if you're taking the high-speed train, no problem. I think if you really focus on your life here and your work here and stuff. I had a friend of mine who's just complaining about how he's having to work overtime on the weekend, and I feel bad for him, but at the same time, he chose that job, so he's got to do what he's got to do. And I think it's kind of weird about how most people, they got to think of some way that they can have some type of an escape plan, which is weird when you really think about it, because if you go around Taiwan, there's some of the most beautiful places all over Taiwan. North of Taiwan, you can go to a place like Yilan, and beautiful. I don't know exactly what. I think probably a lot of people are looking at me in Taipei, and they're thinking who the heck is this guy talking to? And I'm just talking to my damn phone. But anyways, guys, yeah, it's really crowded here. Not particularly in this area, but I imagine that if I'm going to go more over the party district or whatnot, and it's kind of funny too. You go to some of these areas where they have these really narrow streets, and still people insist on driving their cars in narrow streets. Anyways, guys, I reached my destination and I finished my lesson, so that's my little blurb on Taipei. Hope you guys got something out of it, and don't just stay in Taipei. If you are in Taiwan, then go run around to some other place, and you won't regret it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.